A lot of you have been asking about just getting like some technical updates, some updates on developments. And so, this basically, I had basically for the last like week and a half, I'd been chasing the team around to get that information for you guys. And then this kind of led to like some internal discussions where we basically decided that it's really important that we put out an updated roadmap, guys. So, one of the major announcements for today is that you guys can actually look forward to a new roadmap that's coming that will basically highlight all the major progress and product launches and so on and so forth that we're looking for until the end of like the fiscal year, right? So it'll be run throughout. I believe it'll basically cover like running throughout like the end of December, basically. So that's something to definitely like look forward to. Again, you guys have been asking this for quite some time, so we're obviously very happy to deliver here. So please do just keep your notifications on. You can look forward to that literally coming, I would say like early August. So it's pretty much like right around the corner. Other than that, there were some questions from some community members. So I will dive into the questions later. Let me just go through some of our latest developments here. Let me see what I wrote down. Okay. So you guys know that from previous community calls, I've mentioned that we've essentially been building out an advanced version of the Grail. There's going to be more information coming out, pertaining to this and what that actually looks like. Because a lot of you were like, well, your focus has been heavily on, charms and, what's been going on with the Grail. Pretty much the information that I shared with you guys previously was that with the Grail, we've pretty much like focused on catering it towards institutional users, right? So let me kind of expand on that. So we're obviously building out this advanced version of the Grail. Why are we doing this? So this initial system that we had built, right, with the Grail, we actually went ahead and we discussed it with large institutional players who currently hold their Bitcoin and their money with custodians. So these custodians are actually interested in integrating our system. And the reason being is that our system uses advanced signing structures on Bitcoin. So most of the custodians obviously don't have, something like that integrated within their own system. I'm using system so many times. I've literally said system like 5,000 times right now. I'm so sorry. It's the only way that I can explain this. So basically, what we're doing is we're building out this more advanced version of the Grail to be able to be used by institutions and integrated into the custodians. So this is going to allow for a product that can bring hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin that are held with custodians online in a way that's never been possible before. Right. So this is very important. Even going back to, what we all know, what we've all discussed, right? Holding your money with a custodian is a hazard, it's a risk. And so we're trying to do whatever we can on our end to minimize that, right? And also basically create better flow of Bitcoin, create more opportunity for people to be able to do more with their Bitcoin, right? So that's basically what the Grail is going to be catered towards. Again, it's just these institutional players, right? The upcoming roadmap that we'll put out will have a lot more information pertaining to what this looks like, but I did want to cover just a little bit more information on that. The next thing, Cardano, right? So you guys have been asking for like some Cardano updates, and I'm happy to like provide some, just some clarity on Cardano. So, Cardano has a very specific elliptic curve that it uses. What that is it's a very specific cryptographic curve. It's called BLS 12. It also uses what's called ED25519. And what this is it's a it's essentially a math structure that's used in cryptography. And what it does is it defines how keys are created, how signatures are made, and how transactions are validated, right? Anyway, so BLS 12 is not essentially common on other chains, right? This cryptographic curve, it's not common on other chains. There is no ZKVM that's been built for BLS 12. So what we're doing is we're building the very first BLS 12 ZKVM system to be able to integrate with Charms. Sorry, not Charms, with Cardano. So like, what does this actually like mean? What does this actually look like, right? We're building a zero knowledge virtual machine. First and foremost, what is a virtual machine, right? I'm sure a lot of you are thinking that. I'm sure a lot of you, we throw around the terms EVM, so on and so forth several times, but it's like I'm sure most of you don't know what that is. So what is a virtual machine? It's kind of like a fake computer inside of a real computer. It's kind of like a software that acts like its own self-contained computer, and it runs programs that are basically separate from the actual machine itself, right? So we're building this ZKVM. It's a virtual machine that's powered by zero knowledge proof technology, right? Zero knowledge proof technology is cryptography. And what that's going to be able to do is it's going to be able to use the BLS 12 elliptic curve that Cardano is familiar with for cryptographic operations, right? And it'll be designed to work with Cardano. This virtual machine will be able to run ZK code using BLS 12 and then prove it. And then it makes those proofs usable or verifiable within the Cardano ecosystem, which at this current moment in time, this is not something that's supported natively, right? So we're building this incredible, cutting edge technology to be able to do things that, one, nobody has been able to do before, to solve problems that nobody has been able to solve before. And it's not just to bring the product to market, right? It's to be able to make the product usable in ways that other tools or other systems that are available in this current time simply cannot. So that's a little bit of an update that I have regarding the Cardano side of things, the advanced version of the Grail. And then I also covered the fact that in the next coming weeks, you guys can expect a new roadmap that will basically cover, any major updates, any major progress that you should expect, within the coming months. So do expect that for early August sometime. Again, guys, I hate I hate giving you guys specific dates because as you guys have seen, things change. Um, that's just like the nature of space. That's the nature of just like life. And whenever you're working with humans, right, things just change. So just do expect that if something does change and it's more like late August that you get this, this updated roadmap, or even if it falls into September, don't be upset. This is just like the nature of things, and I'm giving you guys a heads up. Um, Again, I really put myself out there, guys. I've been chasing the team around for like the last like week and a half, trying to make sure I get as much information as I possibly can for you guys. It's been really important to me. One other thing that I want to discuss too is something that you guys are likely not familiar with. It's something that we've mentioned, within different community calls. Yago has mentioned it. We've talked about it in certain videos, so on and so forth. But it's still something that has not necessarily been highlighted. And what that is that the boss token is going to have a burn mechanism. I'm sure that's kind of surprising to some of you, right? There is this buyback and burn mechanism that's integrated within our operating system. So I did also want to cover as just like a development side what that basically looks like too, to give you guys an understanding of just like the simplified flow of things. So users will basically interact with the protocol, right, through things like swaps, yield generation, cross chain transactions, smart contract execution, staking, other DeFi strategies, right? These activities, what they do is they generate revenue in Bitcoin, right? Which is something that our OS will essentially collect. Then the OS will use that Bitcoin revenue to buy back BOSS tokens from the market, and then those BOSS tokens are burned and they're basically permanently removed from the circulation, which reduces the total supply, which means that the price, again, it's not financial advice, the price of BOSS would then basically go up, right? If you're reducing the circulation, if you're removing from circulation, removing from the total supply, then the actual price per token would increase, right? So, that's something that I also wanted to cover. A lot of you were kind of confused on the flow of things. But again, yeah, there's just this buy and burn mechanism. So those boss tokens will essentially um, just be sent to like a burn address, possibly. I'm not exactly sure on the actual specifics of that, but I did want to cover that with you guys. So again, just to give you guys a quick summary of the simplified flow. Users interact with the system, right? They're doing like swaps, cross-chain transactions, so on and so forth. Then from there, these activities generate revenue in Bitcoin. The operating system collects that, and then the operating system uses that revenue, that Bitcoin revenue, to buy BOSS tokens from the market, and then those BOSS tokens are burned by being sent to some kind of burn address, reducing the total supply. So pretty cool. Wanted to cover that with you guys. I do think that maybe we need to put out like a new blog post or something, or there's a potential that that will probably be just updated as part of like the upcoming roadmap as well. Let me see here. We got like a request. That was the most like recent updates that I can share with you guys. Some people had some questions too, so I do want to cover that. Number one question is when TGE? So, great question. Um, like I told you guys, I've been chasing the team around for like the last like week and a half to get like technical updates, yada yada yada, right? Like this basically led to like these internal discussions, which we basically decided, hey, like we need to, share an external roadmap, an updated roadmap with the community. So this also led to TGE discussions, and we are going to sync as a team next week. Majority of our team has actually been in New York City for a conference this past week. So we didn't really get a chance to just come together and have like a team meeting. And so next week we're going to get together, have a team meeting. We're going to just discuss some things around TGE, and then hopefully, within the next week or 2 weeks, we'll put out yet another official statement regarding TGE. So that's all I can say for now. Among everything else that we've shared with you guys. Second question, when airdrop? Same thing, right? It obviously depends on TGE. So when TGE happens, the airdrop will happen as well. Super simple, but I understand, you guys want more answers than that. You guys want more information, but at the moment, this is genuinely, guys, like this is like all that I can like provide. There's there's really like nothing more I can share besides that, and it just I want you to know that I say with that with like the utmost like honesty. um let's see here. As you guys know too, it's like I am obviously the bridge between the team and the community. So I want you guys to know that I literally advocate for the community as much as I possibly can. You guys are at like the forefront of, you know, just my efforts in general. And I keep you guys, everything that you guys say, everything that you guys complain about, everything that you guys want to be understood about, heard about, validated about. It's like, it's at the forefront of my priorities at all times, and I always make sure to advocate for you however I can. So please do keep that in mind, that the reason why I'm just saying this is just so that you know that um I literally operate with like the utmost like transparency and honesty that I can, because that's truth, right? Like why why lie to ourselves here? So please just keep that in mind. Okay, another question. One second, my friends. Just put some people up here. All right. Second question. Was staking an afterthought? If not, why weren't the staking rewards and mechanics stated in the white paper? So this is a really good question. Um, and just to give you guys a little bit of an understanding regarding like what this actually means, just give me 1 second, real quick here. Sorry guys, it's freezing in my house. Okay, just to give you guys an understanding of what this actually like looks like, what this means is recently, in one of our previous community calls, we basically announced that we had been discussing as a team this new opportunity that would basically fall into your laps, guys, which is that you will be able to stake or delegate to a Slam node operator, right? So what that typically looks like is Slam node operators, right? They obviously need a more intensive unit, right, with 100 cores at the minimum to be able to run a Slam node, right? So not everybody is going to be able to do that, and so on top of two opportunities, which is one, being able to run a boss node, which anybody will be able to do. We also wanted to give you guys a second opportunity, which is being able to delegate or stake to a Slam node operator so that you guys can continue essentially supporting the ecosystem and supporting like network growth and just the overall like trustless nature within the operating system. We really wanted to give you guys this like separate opportunity, right? So anybody who knows and has been here from, I'd say like, when I first started working here, which was around like eight-ish months ago now, knows that this opportunity was not something that even existed. We never talked about this. I'm sure the team has thought about like staking opportunities and delegation and so on and so forth. But, it was never something that was like solidified. So we never shared it with the community. So, yes, I want to say, was staking an afterthought? Not necessarily. I'm sure the team has like thought of it, but it wasn't like a solidified fact, right? If it was a solidified fact that this is something we were going to execute on, that's why then it would have obviously reflected within the white paper, but it wasn't. So anybody who's been here for like the last 8 months knows and kind of has been a part of like the progression of what we're offering with like the nodes, right? So Slam node operators obviously will require a more intensive unit. However, we're also considering something which I mentioned to you guys in other community calls, which is trying to create our own system, our own like mini computer of sorts, and actually have that something that you guys can purchase and use to run like a slam node. So that's also a previous update that we shared with you guys. So hopefully that covers that. So it wasn't necessarily like an afterthought. It wasn't just something that it was just something that wasn't necessarily confirmed. So um what are the staking mechanics, emissions of tokens, payout or reward mechanics, etc.? So again, because this is very new information, it's literally something that I shared with you guys like, I don't know, 3 weeks ago. These details, from my understanding, have not necessarily been mapped out. They could have been mapped out by, the technical team already, but I don't know it. Um, so I can't share anything, pertaining to that. But hopefully this is something that will be released with the upcoming roadmap information, right? Another question. A Charms meme coin airdrop was mentioned by Andrew on X. Is that happening still, or is that even confirmed? Yes, it is happening. There's more information coming to that soon. Obviously, Andrew just kind of like put that information out there as kind of like a little bit of a teaser. What's interesting about this like Charms meme coin is that it's actually going to be the first ever token to beam from testnet to mainnet. Um, And the way that we're actually structuring the charms meme coin is so that it's like it gives like the utmost like level of like fairness to everybody. Everybody will be able to basically go in and mint a bunch of tokens for free. So there's a lot more information that was discussed, but again, until this becomes something that we share as a full with full information, I can't say anything more than what Andrew has shared. So stay tuned, my friends. Obviously, we want you to be able to actually do something with your Charms wallet. If you guys do have the Charms wallet, we want you to be able to actually have like something tangible to work with. So that's why we're going forward with something like this. But it'll also be, very beneficial for all of us to actually see Charms at work, to be able to actually see something tangible, right? And just overall get an understanding of the actual like infrastructure of charms, because it's still something that's like very confusing to everybody. um let's see here. What specific exchanges are being negotiated for listing? So great question, guys. So at this time, as I've stated, as the mods have stated, I cannot publicly share the names of the exchanges we're in discussions with. I know some of you have done your own research and uncovered bits and pieces of information. That's totally fair, and I 100% respect the curiosity there. But the reason I can't confirm or name any of the exchanges is for two particular reasons. One, um, deals can fall through, right? Until everything is finalized and contracts are actually signed, there's always a chance that things can change. Guys, when things change, and if something like this were to change, just try to understand like the overall sentiment shift that can come as a result of that, right? Like, we are always dealing with human emotion here, okay? People will jump to conclusions. That will shift one person's narrative. Then they'll come out and start sharing just their frustration, negativity. Guess what that does? That starts affecting the people around them. And now it's become a collective concern, right? And now the sentiment is negative, and now everybody is upset, right? So it's like I understand, you guys participate, like a lot of you have participated in the pre-sale, and I completely understand wanting bits and pieces of information, as a result of that. Totally valid. I respect it. I respect you guys doing everything you can to just absorb as much information as possible. But please understand that if there is a reason why we're not sharing something, I promise you it's within good reason, my friends. I promise you it's within good reason, within great reason, within great intention, especially with something like this. Like I said, let's say we were to share the name of an exchange. Let's say then the plans fell through, right? People found out about this, people are upset, and now a group of people are upset, and now the sentiment has shifted. Now everybody's gone to Twitter. Now all of a sudden we're a scam. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like that's how things progress in the space. People make assumptions. You deal with human emotion. We're trying to if there's something that's not being shared, we're just trying to protect us all, genuinely. Um, so please keep that in mind. Now, number two, another reason why I can't share, any information, legal and compliance reasons, guys. Um, Sharing these names prematurely could potentially open us up to legal risks, or it could be considered market manipulation, right? So for now, all I can ask for you is just your patience, your continued understanding, your continued patience, um, and just once again, just know that everything that we're doing on our end, we're doing with the best intentions in mind. So just please keep that in mind. But I do respect you guys. Once again, much respect to all of you for trying to learn every little bit of information that you possibly can regarding Bitcoin OS. That is exactly how you should be operating just within this space, right? That's how you kind of prevent yourself from falling into traps. So I respect that. Um, Let's see here. Um, there's a question that said, what do they see as an advantage of waiting to list on a tier one exchange over multiple tier two exchanges when negotiations can happen post TGE? So, um, first of all, I guess I can say who's saying that this isn't happening, right? Anything regarding exchange listings right now is pretty much just an assumption, guys. We haven't shared anything other than saying that we have conversations in place with top tier exchanges. Top tier exchanges can mean anything, right? It could be you know what I'm saying? So it's like at this moment in time, it's like I just asked like for there to not essentially be any of these assumptions, because these assumptions not only cause issues for you on like a personal level, but if you share an assumption versus stating a fact, this can also cause kind of like a domino effect within the community as well. So um, once again, um, that's all I can say for that. Um, Another question that tends to come up a lot is, why won't the founders engage with the community directly? So this is a really good question. Um, all I can say here is that the founders do their absolute best to stay as connected as possible, but keep in mind that their time is extremely limited, right? They're focusing on ecosystem growth. They're focusing on securing partnerships. They're handling legal or regulatory matters. They're managing product development. They're managing marketing. They're managing ecosystem tech developments. I mean, like if I were to if I were to cover everything Yago does, Yago literally doesn't have like I worry for him a lot. I actually do. Almost doesn't have like time to spend with his family. Like I'm not even joking. It's like this Yago is like traveling from event to event to event, meanwhile taking calls throughout the entirety of those events, meanwhile also a speaker, meanwhile prepping to be a speaker on a panel, meanwhile also working with the development team, working with the technical team, working with every single department within our team, which is pretty major, making sure everybody has answers, coordination, strategy, structure, organization. There's so much that the founders are dealing with, right? And that's obviously to ensure the long-term success of this project. So that said, they're always listening. And any feedback, questions, concerns that arise from the community, I regularly share that with the core team. While they might not always be present in our conversations on Discord, Telegram, or even these calls, please understand that your voices are being heard, and when the time is right, they do present themselves, right? Whenever there's something major changing, we have like some kind of like a product launch that's super important to highlight, you'll see them across multiple spaces, doing their best to communicate, doing their best to show up, right? So please do keep that in mind. And then they are obviously counting on some public facing roles like myself to make sure that the community is informed, to make sure that you guys are heard, to make sure you're supported. As I mentioned before, like my role is to be the bridge between the team and the community. So while they're focused on handling everything behind the scenes, I'm obviously the one that's here to make sure that you guys are not left in the dark, right? So if there is something, as always, that you guys feel is missing, please, please, please don't be afraid to share that with me. I'm more than happy to work with you. I'm more than happy to get that information forward, to provide clarity, so on and so forth, right? I want to make sure that you guys have uh, just a connected experience with us, and I hope that you guys do feel connected too. It's like everybody that's in here, like I am very familiar with all of you, and I try my best to stay engaged with all of you, and just provide you guys with information, and also simultaneously make things fun as well, right? We're obviously like more than just like a community. Like we've all become like a family. So it's always nice like talking to the same people every day, checking in on you guys, sharing stories, talking, laughing, playing some of these like uh, even playing some of these games that we play every week, right? Like sketch heads, and just seeing everybody's like creativity come to play, um, and all that, right? So it's just, yeah, it's just, it's been nice growing together, and I want to highlight once again just the importance of you guys. um you know Please understand that we're building together, like we're genuinely building together, and this is not something that we're doing solo by any means, right? We There's no way that we could get the reach that we've gotten without the help of the community, right? So your advocacy, your support, everything that you guys have been doing has has genuinely been contributing to the growth of Bitcoin OS, the ecosystem, everything, our messaging, our ethos. So we're collectively basically going to bring this major change, not only within the Bitcoin ecosystem, but within the entire crypto ecosystem, right? And genuinely unify everybody and end fragmentation. So it's really like a major thanks to you guys for just participating and really resonating with what we're doing. So shout out to all of you as always. You guys know how much I appreciate you. You guys know how much I appreciate you. Um, but hopefully that answers some of your questions that you guys might have. Let me go over to the AMA questions channel as well. If anybody does have any questions, you guys know you can drop it in the AMA questions channel. I'll also check and see if anybody dropped any messages under my post. Um, Frogman said, "Do you have a mainnet launch date already?" This will come with the updated roadmap that you can expect in early August, my friend. Um, Is there an update on when the presale will end and when Boss will officially launch? That's a good question. Let me give you points for that. Um, there is no update on when the presale is going to end, my friend. Like we mentioned previously, it really depends on just like a couple of things, right? I would say like determine. I guess it really, guys. I'm not trying to say something to. I feel like I have to be so careful with my wording now because I don't want to steer you guys in the wrong direction. So, and sometimes it's really hard to think of these things on the spot. So, um, it really, really, really ties into just making sure that everybody gets a chance to participate. I still get messages on the daily. Hey, can I? I've just finally found myself in a situation where I can contribute to the pre-sale. Is it too late? Has it ended? So it's like we really want to just give everybody a chance to be able to participate. Not everybody is on socials, right? Not everybody has gotten access to. Um, for example, our emails, sometimes they end up in like the spam folder. So it's like we're just trying to give everybody a chance to basically like jump in and participate when they come across it. So I can't give you an update on when it will end, but just as always, guys, keep those notifications on. And in terms of when the OS or our products will actually launch, uh, that will be covered in the roadmap, the updated roadmap that you can expect in the next next like couple weeks as well. Let's see here. Will there be another Zeely sprint before the launch? Yes, my friend, there will be another Zeely sprint. We typically have a Zeely sprint every month to a month and a half. This last sprint that we had, went on for quite some time. I think it went on for like 2 months. And the reason for that was because I was away like a couple weeks throughout that time. So I just wanted to make sure that everybody, actually was able to get the most they could from the sprint. So, but there will be more sprints, my friend. We're all kind of like just taking a break right now because this last sprint, everybody talked about how it was like pretty competitive. So I am just giving everybody a chance to just take a quick like breather here. So you can look forward to the next sprint maybe in like maybe in like the next like 2 weeks or something along those lines. Um, so To be cryptological asked, curious to know the plan for all the unclaimed airdrop tokens. So, great question. So, there was a specific amount that we allocated towards the airdrop campaign. And um, the pros, I'm going to give you guys the pros first of all. Uh, those who forgot to essentially like submit their wallet or just didn't, unfortunately, are not going to get the airdrop. There's no way for us to be able to guess, mind read your wallet address, unfortunately. I wish there was. I know I'm an alien, but my technology has not gotten me that far yet. So unfortunately, yeah, the people who forgot to submit their address, the people who just didn't submit their address, they are not going to be able to participate in the airdrop campaign. They're not going to get the airdrop, unfortunately. However, why is that positive for everybody else who participated? Because now that means that, instead of expecting, let's say, I believe it was 7,000 participants, um, I think we're looking at, I think like almost like 4,000 possibly. I'm not sure on the exact numbers. We're consolidating the list, and once we have all the numbers, I'll share that with you guys. But let's just throw a number out there, right? Let's say, we were expecting 7K, 7K people verified and got those like airdrop roles on our Discord. But let's say only 4K of them actually submit their address. Well, this is beneficial for everybody who actually submit their address, right? Because now that means that the boss that we allocated for the airdrop, you're pretty much just going to get a bigger contribution of it. You're just going to get a get a major portion, a larger portion of it. So it really works out for you guys, which is fantastic. I want things to work out for you guys. But I am sad for the people that came into the Discord server, obviously, and went through the process of verifying their assets. They got the roles, but then they didn't submit their wallet address. I really tried, guys. Like I really, really did. I know that, like most of you know, but I really put I put so much time and effort into that. I made sure that I reopened wallet submissions like 3 times, and we extended the the end date of the airdrop campaign like plus 2 months, which is just not, it's kind of unheard of. Nobody does that in the space. It's like if the campaign is done, it's done. But with us, it's like I really care about you guys. Like I genuinely care about you guys on a deep level, and I want you to be able to get what you're basically like entitled to get, right? You put in the effort, you came to the Discord server, you verified your assets. Some of you even like leveled up on Discord to get additional roles that opened you up to more higher allocation. Of course, I want you guys to get your airdrop. So I really emphasized that to the team, and they obviously understood, and so that's why we were able to extend, the end date an additional like almost what, like 2 months. Crazy. Um, so with that, I do want to like emphasize here as well, is that we really are listening, guys. We really, really, really are listening. The team is listening, even if the founders aren't necessarily active on Discord, on Telegram. Maybe they're not like responding to like X messages. Like please do keep it in mind that they are listening. Especially like, you guys, for example, like one of our uh one of our community members, he actually like made a charms wrap, which was awesome. It was literally a wrap. If he's okay with it, I'll probably like share it with you guys at some point. But super creative. Of course, I shared that with the team, and everybody like absolutely like loved it. We were all laughing. We were all just enjoyed it so much. And then even with the charms best use case competition, same thing here. A lot of you guys had such incredible like submissions, and I shared all of that with the excuse me, with the team. And again, like they absolutely they loved it. So they love getting updates from the community and staying as informed as they possibly can be, right? So it's my job to fill in that gap. um but yeah, let's get to the next question because I'm rambling. um Solo said, is there a fixed floor amount of tokens after deflationary burning, like minimum supply or floor cap, which would prevent the boss token from becoming too scarce and potentially impacting usability, staking, or governance? That's a great question. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not sure. I'm sure there's going to be some kind of mechanism that's integrated within the system to prevent something, um, obviously to, to create some form of like prevention from the system like actually like failing, right? What that is I'm not too sure. That's something that I would have to clarify with the team. But do keep in mind that once these like little itty bitty details are kind of like finalized and solidified, we'll obviously like share that with you guys, of course. And then we'll host many spaces about it. Like I said, with running a node, I want to run a node personally. Hell, I might even run a Slam node myself. And with that, obviously, there's going to be a lot of questions from me because I've never run a node in my life. I don't know how to run a node. So basically what I'm trying to say, guys, is that we're going to host a lot of spaces around this. We're going to have a lot of tutorials around this. There's going to be FAQs around this. I'm going to make sure to update you guys with as much information as I can. There's going to be documentation, there's going to be blogs, so on and so forth, right? So, yeah, I'll do everything that I can to make sure I get that information to you guys. Let's see, Earl 400. More about the Charms wallet. So, good question, my friend. So, what you can actually do if you'd like to learn more about the Charms wallet is you can actually go to I believe it's charms.dev. And from there, let me see here, pulling it up right now. Actually, what I would do is I would actually just go to the Charms Dev like X account. And then there they actually shared basically information on how you could set up like your own Charms wallet. So you just scroll a little bit down. Let's see where it is. Yeah, June 9th. I would totally pin it to this board, but I am looking at this through my PC. Let me actually pull it up for you guys because I do want you guys to like mess around with it if you haven't. It's definitely good just so that you guys can get more familiarized with charms, right? Let me see here, June 9th. Sorry guys, I'm struggling to find it on my phone. If somebody can find it and share it, actually I found it. All right, that's good. Okay, you guys should be able to see it like pinned to the jumbotron, as you guys like to call it, or the board. Um, Super simple. Create the wallet, like it says, view your UTXOs. I believe I do believe it works, but it's kind of just like for demo and like testing purposes only at the moment. But I do recommend just checking it out. I personally went in and made my own wallet. I'm obviously like preparing for like this Charms meme coin situation. So definitely go and play around with it for sure, guys. Jessica said, when aliens meme coin on Charms? That's a good question, my friend. Very soon. Very, very, very soon. Who's gonna buy the aliens meme coin? If anybody's gonna buy it, I'll probably launch it myself. I'll launch a meme coin. Um Chappie said, for future readers, there was no information yet. Okay, so this person's just responding to somebody else. Indulgent said, is the product still on track for launch in Q4? I know that it's possible that timelines can still shift, but at the moment, are we still on track? I would say yes, my friend. I would say yes, we are still on track. Give you points for that. And like I said, the roadmap is going to cover everything, the upcoming roadmap, within the next like few weeks. So that should give you guys like a general understanding of like where we stand, where the product launches stand, so on and so forth. Amir said, my question is, so you're saying only 4K people submitted their wallets for the airdrop. So are you talking about only Discord role airdrop, which is eligible NFTs owned, and the levels maxi holder? If yes, then how much supply will be given to the 4K eligible people? I cannot share details pertaining to how much of the supply is actually going to be distributed via the airdrop, because I don't know. I'm going to be honest, I don't know. We also had specific amount that was allocated for it in terms of like actual like pricing wise. But I'm actually going to talk to the team this upcoming week to see if we can actually increase, like possibly increase that like allocation just a little bit. So that's all I can share about that. But, in regards to the airdrop campaign, just to give you guys a general consensus, because some of you guys don't know what this is about. A couple months ago, we ran a very strategic airdrop campaign that was basically for exclusive communities within the space, right? Some of the communities that we prioritized were like Igon, Snack, Fluid, Handle. These are Cardano projects, by the way. Some other ones were like Board Ape Yacht Club. Um, let's see here. I'm like blanking right now. Just like some like NFT collections within like the Bitcoin ecosystem, or those would be considered ordinals, like the puppets, for example, some within Sol, and then some within ETH, and then some within Cosmos. For example, we had like the Bad Kids NFT collection was eligible. So it was this very strategic airdrop campaign where it was kind of exclusive. Like you had to be a part of that community in order to qualify for the Boss airdrop. So people came into our Discord, they verified their assets, right? They verified that they were actually, for example, like a Bad Kids holder via one of our verification bots. From there, they were given, let's say, like the Bad Kids role, and then they would have to go and submit their wallet to actually be able to get the airdrop, right? So that's kind of like how the campaign went. Unfortunately, it has come to an end. But for those of you that didn't get a chance to participate, please don't let that deter you. There will be more opportunities similar in nature coming up within the next like couple of months. I can promise you that. We're always doing something. As you guys know, we're always doing something. Last week, we even had a Discord giveaway that we announced with the Hathor Network, for example, um, which actually ended today. So I do need to reach out to Nil, who's the head of community at Hathor, and just we can start consolidating the lists, and then we can distribute the rewards. Some I'm not sure why, but the that didn't reach several people. And so we are giving away $500 to 10 people. And pretty much, all I could say is like your guys' chances are really high because I believe only I'm gonna say like probably like 80 people participated, like max. So your chances are pretty high to actually be a winner of the giveaway. So just putting that out there, letting you guys know. For whatever reason, a lot of people just decided not to participate, which is it is what it is. It'd be like that sometimes. Let's see here. And a lot of you have actually been asking about another poker tournament too. Because like the last one we had was actually like pretty fun. I believe there was a cash distribution to the top three. There was also like some merch as well, t-shirts, hats, things of that nature that were also distributed to some of the top winners. And then some of the top winners also got like specific Discord roles that opened them up to like different perks with different campaigns that we had. So we're probably going to be running another one. And by probably, I mean we are. I'm actually currently in talks with Hathor Network. We're in talks with Arch Network, and then Boundless as well. So it's going to be a um, pretty major like event within all of our communities. So that should be kind of like exciting, and then it should also give you guys a little bit of exposure on what Boundless is doing. For example, if you guys don't know, Risk Zero, which actually launched Boundless, they're one of our partners. Hathor is one of our partners. Arch is not one of our partners at the moment, but I do believe, there's been conversations taking place. But regardless of that, the head of community over there is one of my friends, so we just decided to kind of like co-host this event together. Um, Terex said, any info about the circulating supply, please. I cannot give you any information about the circulating supply because TG hasn't happened, my friend. If, once TG happens and, we've kind of established, where Boss is launching, on which exchanges, so on and so forth, that's when we'll pretty much know what the circulating supply is, right? So at the moment, I don't have any future or any other information to share besides that. Let's see here. A Reese caller said, more points equal more tokens, as you said, sometimes is back. Can we have insight of our points is what? That's an interesting way to word it. So I think what you're asking is for the airdrop campaign, the way that it worked is the more rolls you had, the more points you would get, and then the more points you could get, the higher your boss airdrop allocation would be, right? So that's kind of what he's referring to. In terms of the actual value of your points, I can't give that information as well. The only reason being is because I don't want to cause drama within the community. There was already like people that were having issues with each other because for whatever reasons, they were like, oh, you have more roles than me, and they were just getting upset with each other as a result of that, like, oh, you have more points than me, and so on and so forth, even though it was valid, right? Because they were holding those assets, right? They had the NFTs, they were holding, different assets like Fluid or Walker's token, for example. So we don't want to cause drama. We don't want to shift the sentiment. We want to keep things positive. So at the moment, I cannot share that. But if for whatever reason, I should share that and the time comes, I will absolutely do that, my friends. Um, let's see here. So I think that's it, guys. I think that that's pretty much like covered everything that I wanted to share. On the development side, I talked about the burn, the buy and burn mechanism that we'll have with the boss token, which I'm sure is new to some of you all. I will put that in today's summary as well, so that you can just get an overall understanding of how that's going to work for the boss token. Now, a burn mechanism, guys, if you don't know, is highly valuable for anybody that's actually like holding the asset. I would I would ask you to go and look into like what that actually means. But when tokens are burned and there's a reduction in the total supply, that's beneficial for the holder always. Just this deflationary mechanism. So I will cover that in the summary of today's space. So we covered that. We covered our kind of like updates on Cardano, right? We're building this ZKVM that's built with BLS 12, which is this very specific one of the very specific elliptic curve, cryptographic curve, right? It's this mathematical equation that just like Cardano uses. So I covered that. We're basically like building the very first ever BLS 12 ZKVM, right? This ZK powered virtual machine. And that's basically going to allow us to integrate with Cardano in a secure way, by the way, in a very secure way, because smart contracts are not the most secure way to do it, right? So we covered that. We covered that we're also building this advanced version of the Grail and what it's going to be catered towards, which is institutional users. I covered, why it's, why these custodians want to integrate it with our system, and the reason being is, they don't have these like advanced signing structures on Bitcoin like we do. So um, covered that with you guys. Covered some like major questions: when TG, when airdrop. So yeah, highly recommend just re-listening to this if you're just coming in and you kind of like miss bits and pieces of information. Just highly recommend either going back and listening, or just at least at the minimum like reading the summary. And if you guys go over to pre-sale FAQs page on Discord, I actually updated a little bit of information in there regarding the pre-sale. So what I updated was the number of tokens, the percentage of the allocation sold, the FDV, and then the price per boss um, for the last like 13 stages. So we had up until like stage 9. So I went ahead and I updated it. So I'll share that with information with you guys too. So stage 10, it was 0.0089 per boss at 185 mil FDV. We sold about 0.17% of the allocation, and that was 35.7 mil tokens. Okay, that was stage 10. Stage 11 was 0.0091 per boss, 191 mil FTV, 0.12% of the allocation sold. That was also 35.7 mil-ish tokens. Stage 12, 0.009, 0.0092 per boss, 193 mil FTV, 0.12% of the allocation sold, and that was around, that's interesting. It says 193 million tokens. I'm not sure if that's accurate, guys. I'm not gonna lie. I might actually have to like go back and double check to make sure that's to make sure if that's accurate, because that sounds a little high. But then yeah, stage 3 is also 195 million tokens. So I do have to go back and double check that, because I might have just I might honestly, my brain has been pure soup the last like week. My brain has not been functioning well, so I apologize for that if I shared any kind of like misinformation there. But I'll I'll make sure to go back and like update that. A couple other things, guys, that I want to share today too before we kind of like wrap up, or if anybody has any questions, you're more than welcome to come up and ask, or just chit chat. Um, Couple more things is on Discord, we have a new category. It's called Go Boss Yourself. Now, I'm sure a lot of you see that a lot of us in here actually have a boss themed profile picture. So if you want to participate and join the boss army, go over to our Discord. And what I pretty much ask from you is go find the Go Boss Yourself category, um, click, it's kind of like a support ticket system. It says share profile pics. So you'll basically click that, you'll open a ticket. What you'll do is you'll share basically your profile picture, and then I will basically custom make you a profile picture. Some people, what they've done is they've actually sent a picture of like themselves, like their actual like physical selves. And I turned it to just like a little bit of like an anime version of them. And then I plastered it onto like a boss themed background. So if you guys want to participate in that, we would love to have you join the boss army. I think it looks so clean. Everybody's got like their orange pilled background. So if you want to participate in that, we'd love for you to do that. Like I said, it's under the Go Boss Yourself category on Discord. You just share your profile picture. Super simple. It's like creating a support ticket. So super cool. About 72 of you, actually, about 72 of you have already changed your profile pictures. So pretty cool. Now, I want to cover something. So, as you guys may or may not know, Handle, a Cardano project, they're actually coming out with a new collection, guys, a new NFT collection, a 10K premium NFT collection called HAL. So what I went ahead and I did was I actually managed to secure a couple whitelist spots for you guys. So they very, very kindly offered 25 whitelist spots for the boss community, plus one rare sub handle. So basically, what I'm doing at this very moment in time is I'm trying to figure out the best way to distribute that amongst you guys. Now, a lot of you have actually got the die hard role, and I am absolutely prioritizing one, the Charm Smith role, the winners of the best use case competition. The winners of the best use case competition already have a whitelist spot guaranteed. Okay, so that would be Earl, that would be Jimmy Shaker on within our community, and then that would be Indulgent. So congratulations to you guys. You guys have confirmed whitelist spots for the HAL whitelist. Sorry for for the giveaway that we're co-hosting with them. Now the Die Hard role. So those of you who basically were in the top 100 of our last Zeely sprint, you guys were given the Die Hard role. Now I told you guys the Die Hard role is going to come with some additional perks, right? If you're participating in Zeely, if you're making an effort, right? If you are like genuinely like putting yourself out there and helping us spread the word, we want to give back to you, right? And I told you guys that having this Die Hard role would give you guys perks, would come with a lot of perks. Now here's a perk, right? So because we were given 25, 3 was obviously subtracted for the Charmsmith role. Now we're left with 22. So A major portion of that is going to go towards the die hard role. And so those who have the die hard role, which is about 100 of you, you guys are going to be able to not only participate in getting that, a whitelist spot there, but you'll also be able to kind of participate from like the general portion that that is kind of like left over, if that makes sense. So this kind of gives you like just a little bit more of an advantage, right? Because instead of competing with like 80,000 people, which that's not, that's how many people we have on Discord, but let's say you're competing with like 500 people, right? Instead of competing with 500 people, you're actually just competing with possibly like, honestly, maybe like 30 people, right? Because not all 100 of the people that have the die hard role are going to compete against you to get a whitelist spot. But yeah, so keep your notifications on because by Monday, I will be announcing exactly how to participate. And then you will honestly only have like 2 days. You'll have only like 2 or 3 days to be able to participate. So if you want a whitelist spot, again, just keep your notifications on. And yeah, you'll basically like learn how to participate. So pretty cool opportunity there, guys. Like I said, the Die Hard role is going to come with so many more perks moving forward. These are the people that who have genuinely been showing up. These are the people that who have genuinely been participating and advocating for us and spreading the message. So we really want to, give back to you guys however we can. Um, on top of that, another couple of updates as well. For the last couple of months, I've been working on a brand ambassador program, and I'm kind of coming to a point where this brand ambassador program is going to be ready to be launched. That is all I can share with you guys at the moment, but the way it's going to work is everybody is going to be able to apply. Um, and then, from there, we'll go through the applications, so on and so forth. There's going to be different tiers. There's going to be rewards associated with every tier. Every time you like move up into another tier, you're going to have, maybe perch or what's perch? Sorry, merch, merch, and, maybe like cash rewards and things of that nature, right? Again, just to really give back to you guys however we can. You guys have been loyal. You guys have been advocating for us. A lot of you are already acting as ambassadors. So we want to bring you over into the program and actually like solidify your relationship with Boss. So that's going to be ready relatively soon. I just, we've obviously had campaign after campaign after campaign, so I haven't had the time to really like just finalize like some of the details with that. Um, let's see. I'm going to be honest. I think I covered pretty much everything. I don't see any more. I don't see any more AMA questions. So I guess with that, if anybody wants to come up, if anybody else has, anything that they'd like to say, if anybody has any questions, um, Obi, I think you came up, but if you have a question, like, feel free to speak. I also just want to give a shout out to Lord Dre. You're always doing the most, my friend. Shout out to you. Like, I really, once again, respect you and value you. Like, you always like show up to our spaces and then come up as a speaker to give exposure to your community. So I just respect you so much for that. So thank you again, my friend. Um, but yeah, if either of you would like to speak, or if either of you have any questions, or wanted to ask something, now would be the time to kind of like get that going. So
Um, okay, GM everyone.
GM.
GM Alien, GM Lodre. First of all, I want to appreciate Lodre for probably talking about Bitcoin OS, and that was how I knew about Bitcoin OS. Like, if not for Lodre, I wouldn't even know what Bitcoin OS is called. Then, also, I want to say thank you to Ellen. You've been so great on Discord. You've been answering all the questions. My question will be kind of short though. I wanted to plead for those that came late, like those that actually came before the airdrop campaign. I know I've said this to Elia before, and she was like, "No, I'll do something." I know, but I'm actually bringing it up here again. Like, I actually know we came late, but I think something should be done because some of us have actually gotten pre-sale. bought pre-sale, we've been active, and I know we missed the airdrop campaign. Though I know there are other things that will be coming, like maybe Zelle Sprint, other tags, and the rest. But if something can be done, I'm actually just pleading. If there's a way you can talk to the devs, to the leaders of Bitcoin OS for us, if something can be done for we that actually came late. Thank you.
First of all, my friend, my sweet friend, I'm very sorry. I'm very, very sorry that you have like this sense of kind of like missing out, or you feel like you want to participate but you can't. So I just want to say like I'm sorry. That's always just it's just not a good feeling. And I'm sorry that, I'm genuinely sorry that you came in late and that you couldn't participate. I don't have any good news for you. Regarding the airdrop campaign, unfortunately, it did come to an end. But what I said to you, right? And I'm just going to repeat myself again, is that there are going to be more opportunities similar in nature unfolding within the next couple of months, within the next like couple of years. As long as I'm around, I'm going to make sure that there are, just as many incentives as possible, right? Any way that we can give back to the community, as long as I'm here, I'm going to make sure of that. So, one thing to keep an eye out that Andrew had mentioned on Twitter. Andrew's our senior social, sorry, our senior content manager. Uh, there's going to be a Charms meme coin, right? This is going to be very valuable, guys. Like I said, not only is it going to be the first ever meme coin that's a charm, but it's also going to be the first ever token to ever beam, right? Bridge, move from, I don't want to say bridge, but it's beam from testnet to mainnet. This has never been done before. So everybody's going to be able to get the opportunity to have this Charms meme coin. Um, so that's an opportunity. And then there's a few other opportunities that are rolling out within the next like couple of months as well. I can't specifically say what that is, but I promise you that you're gonna appreciate it and you're gonna enjoy it, and everybody is gonna be able to participate in that, and for a pretty decent amount of time as well. So like I said, my friend, we're always cooking something up in the kitchen here. I promise I won't leave you in the dark. Even if you can't participate in the airdrop campaign, just know that there has been opportunities. There always will be opportunities. Anybody that has been within our community knows or has kind of benefited from the campaigns that we've run. I know that for a fact, right? Even for example, like just giving a shout out here to Earl. Earl came in a couple months ago. I think this was it could have been like at the end of the airdrop campaign. It could have also been during the airdrop campaign. I'm not sure. But he literally just won the Charms best use case competition. And now I'm actually sending him a pretty big package with merchandise, right? Some Bitcoin OS merchandise. He got the Charmsmith role, so it just opened him up to a guaranteed whitelist spot for the HAL and 10K NFT collection, this premium NFT collection. So it's like, I promise you guys that there's always something, right? There's always an opportunity. Like I said, there's going to be a poker tournament coming up with a bunch of communities. There's always something. Promise you that. As long as I'm around, there always will be. Um, but yeah, hopefully that answers your question or your concerns, my friend. Again, I'm sorry that you didn't get a chance to participate, but I promise you that I'm thinking ahead, and I'm thinking of all of you. Lord Dre, would love to hear from you, my friend.
GM. Actually raised my hand when my guy here will be requested for the airdrop. No, please, this project is too big. The use case is too great to be an airdrop project. I do not like airdrops. Airdrops dilute supply, and airdroppers dump tokens, and projects tank and cause a lot of problems in the end. When I think the tokenomics is very okay. The amount that's already allocated to airdroppers is very healthy for the Cardano OGs, and that's good enough. Don't dilute the airdrop supply. When you give people free tokens, they dump it and they do not value it. They don't even look at the tech. They don't understand what you're building. For a person to invest their money in a project, that means they know what you're building. They have belief in whatever is being built. They understand the infrastructure that's been developed. And if you've been following the project, you'll know this is one of the biggest projects so far. The hype is minimal for now. People will FOMO in eventually when everything is live and they see the use case and it's glaring, everybody would come on board. When Bitcoiners are on board and liquidity starts flowing and people will understand, oh, I should have been early, right? So for now, you might think the project is not that what it is, but it's not an airdrop kind of project. We don't want to destroy it with airdrop as a community member. I'm not a team member, yes, but I'm a community member. With regards to, so let's just keep it as it is. That's what I would prefer. I would prefer the way it is. No more airdrops. That's all it should be. If it were up to me, there would be no airdrops at all. At all.
You're so funny. You're so funny. No, you know what?
Yeah,
These are
I,
good
I I am
points.
qualified for the airdrop though. As a Cardano OG, I had a lot of NFTs that got me qualified, but I'm more focused on the technology and how to
Absolutely.
scale Bitcoin and yeah,
Absolutely.
so let's just keep it at that. And I don't know about the NFT collections, and the meme coin is an interesting thing that's coming up. It shows the ecosystem is actually maturing and a lot of things are coming up. Meme coins actually for the culture bring a lot of hype to ecosystems and it's a good development. But I don't know how it would be done. Would the coins be a drop to holders or would they be bought? I just want clarifications on how the meme coin and the NFT collections would work. Am I qualified as a holder or pre-sale buyer to mint this NFT because I'm a big NFT person. I was very big on Cardano NFTs and I'm still bullish on them. I would like to mint this NFT. I should have a white list. I mean, I have a community to cater for and people to give white list spots. Lots of my community members are buying into this project. So I should have white list for my people at least. I'm just asking.
I got you, my friend. I got you. Don't worry. Once we've kind of like mapped out all the details from that, I'll definitely, most definitely be in touch with you. But, like I said regarding like this Charms meme coin, the way that it's going to work is with like the utmost level of like fairness. The main goal here really is for you guys to be able to understand charms, right? Which is our new programmable chain agnostic token standard, right? So that's obviously like the main goal here is we really want you guys to understand the technology. We really want you guys to understand like the infrastructure, how it's actually working. So with that, we want to give you guys something tangible to use within your Charms wallet. And so with that being said, once we have mapped out all the details, I promise I'll be in touch with you. But the real goal here is to kind of cater to everybody who wants to participate, everybody who wants to know about Charms, everybody that wants to understand the tech and the impacts that it's going to have on the entire cryptocurrency ecosystem. So with that, it's like we're going to cater to everybody, but we're going to do it safely, right? So for example, when we had the OKX Cryptopedia campaign, what happened and what we saw was that there was a lot of people. There was literally one wallet, one person that was linked to 100,000 wallets, guys. Like I don't even know, man. Like I don't even you know what I mean? Like how does that even happen? But people have figured out a way to farm these types of campaigns, to farm these types of initiatives. So we're thinking of how do we safely do this, right? How do we safely do this where you can go to a website and let's say you can mint like 5,000 like charms meme tokens every day? How can you safely do this without giving like these bots and these farmers like an opportunity to come in and just take as much like charms like tokens, charms memes token as much as they want, right? So we're figuring out a very strategic way to make that happen, a very safe way to make that happen. But ultimately everybody is going to be qualified. Everybody here is going to be able to participate, but we just need to figure out like the mechanics with that. Once we do, I promise I'll be in touch with you, my friend. But you made some really good points about like the airdrop campaign and how it like dilutes the supply, and how there's a lot of people that participate in these airdrops, but they don't necessarily care about the project, they don't care about the growth, they just want to dump, right? They just participate and then they just dump the tokens because it's just quick incentives left and right, right? Unfortunately, that's also the nature of the space. Inflation is at an all-time high across pretty much every single country globally. We're experiencing serious like economic like frustrations and disruptions, and so it's understandable that people very much have like a casino mentality right now, but that doesn't reflect well on us and it doesn't help us. So that's why our airdrop campaign was very, very strategic, right? We didn't just open up the airdrop campaign to everybody, because if we opened up the airdrop campaign to everybody, not only would it have let bots and farmers like participate and take away from the actual community, but it would take away from the actual community. We wanted to only give it to intimate communities, actual real people that were part of the communities. That's why they had to come in and they had to verify their assets. They had to verify they were actual holders of that community. And on top of that, we even implemented a snapshot date, right? So that snapshot date, once again, is another security measure, because it's like we really want to just reward the intimate community. We don't want somebody to go buy snack and then verify their assets and be eligible. That's not how it works, right? We want to reward people who are actually holders, who are actually advocates of these communities. So that's why we did the airdrop campaign the way that we did. So I'm definitely right there with you, my friend. Any typical airdrop campaign, I'm not a big fan of. I think it's more hurtful to just the project as a whole. So yeah. So with that, I think we're kind of like coming to an end here, unless anybody else wanted to like come up. Unless anybody else had any questions or anything of that nature. I'm just gonna check. Let me just check the AMA questions channel one more time here. What's required for the boss before bros role? I can see that some are rocking it already. So the people who got the boss before bros role, everybody can get this role, guys. Every single person can get this role. The way that you get it is with a new community like initiative that we've like implemented. To be honest with you, I need to like I need to create a channel just for the community, because like we run so many initiatives and everybody wants to get involved, but we're doing so many different things, and people don't necessarily know, besides like coming to these community calls, besides learning it from somebody else. So let me just kind of give you an idea of what it is and how to participate. So the good morning, good night channel. If you go and you type like a nice meaningful message in there, like instead of just GM or GN, if you type like, for example, I'm going to read somebody's, I'm going to read my own actually. I wrote G Boss Gang, AMA today. Looking forward to seeing you all there. If you write things like this, if you write, I'm thrilled to be part of the community that's not only shaping the future of crypto, but it's also led by authentic, genuine people. If you write actual meaningful messages in the GMGN, what I do is I'll react to your message with a sun, and that gives you XP towards Zeely. But not only does it give you XP towards Zeely, it also opens you up to the boss before bros role. That role will also be tied into incentives, because typically the people that are participating in GMGN and reacting to our announcements on Discord and getting XP from that, these are these are typically the people that care to engage the most. So again, there will be a lot of initiatives and perks around that role as well. But like I said, the way it works is you go to the GMGN channel and you write a nice message like, good morning, guys. One piece of advice I've learned from the cryptocurrency space is XYZ. Or good morning, guys. Like, what I'm really excited for is like to be able to take like a dying NFT project on Ethereum and wrap it into a charm, and now it has access to Bitcoin's liquidity. Something like that. You know what I mean? So that's how that works. Like, for example, somebody just wrote Cardano and Bitcoin sitting in a tree. Good morning. I'm going to give you XP for that because that's funny and I like that. And you're actually trying to do something else. Indulgent just said, G Boss, this AMA has been super exciting. There's been so much information passed around. I'm excited I made it. Love hanging out with you guys. That gets XP. I just don't want to incentivize just GM, because it just creates spam. So again, genuine engagement, guys. Just do some genuine engagement and you will get XP. In fact, you can get it every single day. So yeah, so keep that in mind. Let's see here. I think we've pretty much like covered everything, guys. We covered pre-sale updates. We covered some technical updates regarding Cardano, regarding the Grail. We covered the burn mechanism. We covered the giveaway, the whitelist giveaway. Um, Honestly, I think we covered pretty much everything. But let's see here. Yeah, I'll just wait. If you guys have any questions, you want to come up, you want to chat, you want to say anything, feel free to come up because the mic is yours. Otherwise, we'll probably, call it for the day and, just it is Friday after all, so I'm sure everybody's trying to like go and relax. Benicolobi, Nacolosis, and Economission. Quacqualata. Benicolobi, Manimo Beach, and Economission. Nacolobi, Masicolobi, Manicolation. Benicolobi, Nacolosis, and Economission. Quacqualata. I enter from my Buddha, Quacqualata. Money, Mutakasu, Face, Yawata. I know fit for some feet don't pass my power. I roll up a shawarma, I pay for Pakwalada. I enter from a puta go Pakwalada. Money motaka sufe. All right, gang. Much love to you all. Take care and have an amazing, amazing, amazing weekend. Go to touch grass. Go be in nature. Be with friends and family. Love you all. Take care.